Now then, how we doing? All right, so this now, see my collar. I look like a Nosferatu. Right, that's better. Fucking silly thing. It's quite windy today, and it's not a bad temperature, but as I say, good drying wind. But it is windy. Anyway, so JCB 3C that we looked at last time, and it's caused a lot of interest, and especially the thing about the Hydra chassis and how that was designed. It's, it's a very clever design by JCB all those years ago. Right, so where are we with it now? As I said, the plan was just to, in time, do the cab, do the little bits on the cab and whatever, but basically just change the oil and run it. And that's all right, you got to take it that it's been serviced in the past, you'd like to think, and they're not the best engine, those old 498 Leylands, but they're a good enough thing. But it's getting on and whatever. So, like I said, odd job around, doing the odd bit here, scratching about, fine. But me, I'd never really be fully happy with it, because you don't know its previous history, do you? And that's the same with buying any old bit of kit. But anyway, that's what it was going to be. However, I decided to change the oil, and I took the sump plug out. Weren't great. It wasn't great at all. Not, I ain't having the bottom end all dropping out through the drain hole, but on the magnetic end of the sump plug, there's a lot of sort of fine debris and whatever. The oil's not great. So on here, you can probably see all sorts of stuff. Of various fragments of metal. I can't just let that go. As I say, easiest thing to do is, fingers crossed, put some more oil in and go again. But so I'm going to pull the engine, and it's one of those things, you start spending money and start spending, but the engine is the main thing on it, isn't it? And without a good engine, it's no good to anybody. There's oil leaks and stuff on it, as we know, and so there's things to be addressed regardless. And I think, well, I'm into it that far. And the thing about it is, because it's the powertrains we're talking about before, the separate units, it's a lot easier to work on, and it's going to be a lot easier to actually remove the engine, because you're not all encased, in big side plates and whatever, like the older ones. So I've already started stripping bits off, already have the engine out. You can see down there, probably not focus. Put that there. See, is the coupling for the pump. It's the front hydraulic pump. Right, and then what else have we got to do? So I'll drain the water down and start removing a few hoses and clips and whatever. Wires off the starter. And at the back there, and all that gunge and dirt, is the powertrain transmission. So you can see how much easier it is to separate everything, and it's quite easy to work on, to be fair. It's nice and open. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Tell you what, I'll also show you, talking about that Hydra chassis, because a lot of people were interested in that, the actual concept of that whole oil in the frame sort of thing. I found one that's been cut up, JCB, for spares being cut up, and that actually demonstrates quite nicely the Hydra chassis. So we'll have a look at that. Right, so you can obviously see this one's been cut about, and all the loader and back end and everything's been cut off. And then here, luckily, you can see where they've cut the chassis frame, what we're talking about. So as you can see, this would be, as I said, acts as a reservoir for the oil, you see. And that is obviously on, you've seen on the other one, how it extends right through, and forms all part of the actual structure. And then the back end here. Now, this demonstrates also quite clearly what we were talking about being an earlier one. So there's the engine, and then you've got the bell housing and gearbox, and then the back axle. It's all one solid unit, all bolted together. You see here how the Hydra chassis is split into two galleries. Apparently that's to help with the flow and return. Also, because it's obviously the tractor-based version, it's still got the support channels. As I said, right from the front to the back, just like the tractor would have. Whereas my 3C with the powertrain is literally the engine block. So that crap there, you can see that. The whole block is totally separate and just mounted on engine mounts. So it's not sitting in this sort of sub chassis. And that means that this sump had to be strengthened and changed as well, because obviously the stress points were at different places between these two types of model, you see, because it doesn't have this down here. Well, what can you say? But like I said, it's got to be done, and we'll do it. It's just part and parcel of buying old kit, really, isn't it? That's, you know, that's the thing. So, and as I said, we'll film it as we're going along, so you guys can see, and as ever, you know, I no doubt you'll come up with some tips and that. And that, you know, as I said, that brings us back to the video I did, you know, regarding Tim, you know, Cotton Top. And the amount of support that just amazing, and I thank you all for that. You know, as I said, because he's a good guy, and I think that's just nice for him to know that, you know, that we do appreciate the effort that he puts into all his videos and everything, because they're brilliant. So yeah, I was much appreciated for that. But yeah, I got a couple of messages, you know, that came through. Basically saying, you know, well, who cares about Cotton Top, you know, we come here to see what you're doing, not what he. Well, I tell you what, that just goes to show, because if that's your attitude and all you're worried about is what you're getting out of it, unsubscribe, just go, because I don't want you here. The type of people I want here are those that are concerned about other people, or want to help other people, and you know, encourage people to do things and just get along, and so it's all part of this building this community, and that's what I want to do. And I mean, you guys have been brilliant, like with the help of the John Deere I've had, you know, when I asked about what should we do about the paintwork and all that, cab interior, you know, you guys again, you know, have you tried this kit, have you tried that kit? You know, the help has been phenomenal, so that's been really, really good. We're back to the old John Deere at the moment. Obviously I got that front nose panel off, as you remember, all them bloody old bolts. So I'm just going to give it a clean down. Then what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to take these light units off, because I said I want to replace them. So right, here we go with that. And then go on here and you just, there we go. There's the cable behind, obviously, which links the two lights, then goes off to join them in the loom. Right, just so you can see, I mean, this is the second one, and let's say there's the pins they locate on, and then you can say the on the front, you can get the bowls out by taking those screws out there. See on here, but they are absolutely rusted to buggery. So yeah, Alright, this one here, this is out, that one there. This one here is just rusted solid, and even with an impact driver it won't move. So I'll cut the bugger off with a disc cutter, cut the head off, and then remove the shroud, and then I can actually get the rest of the stud out. So right, so I'll keep you updated with that. As I said, I'll get this cut off, and then I'll order the new lights, surrounds, and the actual headlights themselves, because the chrome has gone on one, and obviously the back's rusted totally on the other. So we'll have new ones of those, and then we'll make a final decision on whether to polish or paint. As I say, your help has been, you know, much appreciated with that, because it's given me a lot to sort of balance and weigh up. As I said, it's all about learning. You know, you guys maybe picking up a bit from some of the stuff I'm doing, but you know, the stuff I learn off you is immense. It's fantastic. So you know, let's keep that going. Thank you to you guys as well that welcome the new subs in, and that's much appreciated. And yeah, good stuff. So don't know what the weather. I haven't even looked at the forecast yet. Don't know what I was going to do this week. I'd imagine it'd be all right. Should be all right. But anyway, thank you all for watching. As I say, it is much appreciated. And well, you know, look after yourselves, and mind how you go.